Hello children, how are you all? Hope you all are fine and doing well. My name is Naresh. Welcome to our channel Physics Plaza. Children, in today's session, we are going to discuss about resistance. What is resistance? What is the reason for the resistance? And on which factor does the resistance depend? Children, before getting to the topic, let us recall one important point what we have discussed in last class. Children, in last class, we discussed why we do not get electric shock when we touch metals, though there is a free movement of electrons, plenty of electrons are moving throughout the conductor. So then we got to know that the net charge actually, so as they are moving randomly, if we can take at any cross section of the conductor, so the number of charges which are moving from left to right through that cross section are equal to the number of charges which are moving from right to left. So that what will happen? The net charge will be 0. So that as there is no net charge, there is no electric current, so we do not get electric shock. That's fine. But what happens when electric conductor is given some potential difference? That is when it is connected in electric circuit, so that there will be some cell in a battery, so that it creates potential difference. And we know that. So whenever there is a potential difference, obviously there will be a movement of electrons. Means what actually cell will do, dear children? Cell will make the charges, that is electrons, to move in a particular direction. So that what happens? There will be a net charge. So as there is a net charge, definitely we will have some electric current. That is fine. But do you think that it's that much easy to the electrons to flow through the conductor easily? It's not that much easy, dear children. So definitely here, electrons also will face so much of trouble. So many troubles it will face. So what is the trouble? So I can say that the trouble faced by that electrons only we can call it as a resistance. So let us see actually. So what is the reason for resistance? So before that, let us observe the resistance word, dear children. Look at here. If you can see here, the resistance word, resist. Children, here resist means what here? Stop. Resist means what actually? Stop. So there is a question then. Who is stopping and who is stopped? It's very, very, very important. So it's very simple thing is that here electrons are stopped, and who is stopping? That is the material itself. We'll get surprised. Why as electrons are moving through the material, and why that material will stop? So children, stopping means not 100%. There will be some opposition. There will be, means it will try to oppose little bit, and at the same time electrons are not stopped completely. Little bit halt, again they will be moving. Let us see once again, dear children. So let us come back here actually. So what is the main reason for the resistance is the collisions actually. So as we know that in a conductor there are plenty of electrons are there. So obviously what will happen, So first thing is that electrons will collide themselves. The electrons will be colliding themselves. So whenever they will collide themselves, what will happen? For a while, they will be stopped. Again they will be moving. That's the first reason. And the second reason, they will be colliding with the positive ions of the lattice. So we know that in a conductor, the positive ions, they are fixed in their locations. But whereas charges are moving. So as they are moving, so definitely there will be some collisions with the positive ions of the lattice. And third one is there will be collisions with the core of the metals. So due to these collisions, what will happen? For a while they will be stopped, and immediately we will get one doubt. As they are stopped, what will happen? Their energy is lost in the form of heat. As their energy is lost, then how they can move? Yes, again they can regain energy from the external electric field created by the cell. So that what will happen? Again they will regain energy, again they will be moving. Again some resistance is given. Again they will be stopped. Again they gain energy. So dear children, this is happening continuously. So this is what actually we have to learn from the electrons. In our life also, whenever we face any hurdle, we should not stop. Okay, because some reasons we may be stopped for some time. Again we should get motivated. We should regain energy. Again, as like electrons, we have to flow continuously. We have to move in our life also continuously. So dear children, so this is the main reason actually for a resistance. So then how can we define the resistance? Children, so the abstraction given to the flow of charges by the material is called resistance. I repeat once, the abstraction given to the flow of charges by the material is called resistance. So children, here what are the units of resistance? So resistance is measured in ohm, OHM. So regarding OHM, how we got and what is the definition of ohm, all these things again we will be discussing in the next sessions. So here ohm is the SI unit of the resistance. Children, now let us discuss the factors affecting the resistance. Factors affecting the resistance means on which factor does it depend actually. Dear children, let us take for example, let us take some copper wire, and another is nichrome wire. Another one is nichrome wire. And here the condition is that we are taking copper and nichrome wire of same length and the same area of cross section. Of course, both are at the same temperature only. Now, so let us say R1 is a resistance offered by the copper, whereas R2 is a resistance offered by the nichrome. And here let us say at the ends of these two conductors, let us say same potential difference is created. Then what happens when a potential difference is created? Obviously, there is a flow of charges. So there will be a net charge. So there will be some current. Let us say the current which is flowing through this is a I1 and the current which is flowing through this is a I2. And dear children, and we notice that these two currents are not at all same first point. And obviously, the amount of current which is flowing through the copper wire is more than that of the amount of current which is flowing through the nichrome wire. Which means what? Can we write like this? I1 is greater than I2. Of course. So, through the copper wire, as current is more means what? Charges are moving freely. As the charges are moving freely, which means what? It is offering less resistance. Whereas the nichrome wire, so through the nichrome wire, the current is less means what? The movement of charges is not free. So they have some obstruction, which means what? It is offering more resistance. So we can say that it is R2 is greater than R1. So dear children, though these two materials of like copper and nichrome, they are same length, same area of cross section and both are at same temperature. Then why this much difference? The difference is because their nature is different. The material with what it is made is different. It is made up of the copper, it is made up of the nichrome. So we can say that here resistance of any material, resistance, it depends on its nature. It's very important. Children, first point, what can we say? So resistance depends on nature of the material. Now let us take a copper wire of length, for example of length 1 meter, let us say of length. So that's area of cross section is A only. And here is one more copper wire of 2 meters, and area of cross section is same only. Children, by this time both are made up with copper only, which means what? Nature is same, area of cross section is the same. Now let us create the same potential difference across the terminals, across the ends of the conductor. Then obviously there will be some current. Let us suppose I1 is the current which is flowing through the first copper wire, whereas I2 is the current which is flowing through the second copper wire. And dear children, let R1 be the resistance offered by this first copper wire and R2 be the resistance offered by the second copper wire. Then we notice that dear children, I1 is greater than that of the I2. So which means what? So we notice that here I1 is greater than that of the I2. So which means what? More current is flowing through the copper wire of 1 meter than that of the copper wire of 2 meters. Which means what? Second copper wire of 2 meters is offering more resistance. So we can say that it is R2 is greater than R1. So which means what? With this we can conclude that here as the length of the conductor increases, the resistance also increases. Whereas the length of the conductor decreases, the resistance also decreases. So then what can we conclude? We can conclude that the resistance of the conductor is directly proportional to the length. It's very important. But here we will get one doubt. So what sir, if length increases, why the resistance is increasing? Dear children, as we discussed that resistance is just because of collisions. Might be collision with positive ions, collisions among themselves, collision with the core of the material, whatever it may be, just because of collisions only. Dear children, so as the length increases, what happens, the time of the collision increases. Means here, for example, here they may collide for example 5 minutes. So So till here, so from this point to this point only, they go on as they are traveling, so that definitely they will be colliding. But here, as length increases, then don't you think that the time of the collisions also increases? Means more time collisions will take place. Here less time, as the length is less time collisions will take place. Here whereas as the length is more time collisions will take place. So that is the reason why resistance increases when the length of the conductor increases. So then what can we conclude here? We can conclude that here resistance is directly proportional to the length. So the second factor on which resistance depends is that length of the material, length of the conductor, anything you can take, that is not a matter. Length of the conductor or material, length of the conductor or material. Fine. Children, now let us consider the two copper wires. Here is a copper wire and here is one more copper wire. Children, now it is 1 meter length only, here 1 meter length only, and both are copper wires. So let us say the first copper wire, it is the second copper wire. Try to understand it, children. So very important it is. So both are made up of with the copper, and moreover now the lengths are also same by this time. The lengths are same, but the difference is that let us take area of cross section. They are different area of cross section. Let us say the area of cross section of this one is A1, the area of cross section of this one is A2. Children, try to understand. Such a way that this copper wire offers R1 resistance and the second copper wire offers R2 resistance, and its length also 1 meter only, And when same potential difference is created across this two ends of the conductor, what happens? Definitely there will be flow of current. So let us say I1 is the, children, let us hear, I1 is the amount of current which is flowing through the first copper wire of 1 meter length only. But whereas here let us say here I2 is the current which is flowing through the second copper wire of 1 meter length only. But try to understand here, let us say its area of cross section is A and its, let us take it is a 2A. So it's very clear. So that the area of cross section of second copper wire is more than that of the first copper wire. Children, here we notice that I2 is greater than I1. I2 is greater than, it's very important. I2 is greater than I1. So which means what? More current is flowing through the second copper wire of 2A area of cross section than that of the first one. Again we can conclude here. In the second case, as more amount of current is flowing, which means what? More number of charges, more electrons are moving very freely. As more number of charges are moving very freely means what actually? It is not offering much resistance. Collisions are not taking place much. So there is a free movement of electrons. So we can say that here this copper wire of double area of cross section is offering less resistance than that of the first one. So we can say that it is as I2 is greater than I1. So here R2 is less than R1. Try to understand each one. So which means what here? What can we conclude? Let us concentrate here. This is very important here. Area of cross sections matter. Both are made up of with same material. Both are having same length and at the same temperature. But the difference is that the area of cross section actually. So more the area of cross section, more the current, which means what? Less the resistance. Whereas less the area of cross section, less the current, which means what? More the area of cross section. Means resistance of the conductor is inversely proportional to the area of cross section. So the third point, what we can say here, the third point is that here area of cross section of the conductors, very important, area of cross section also. But again we get doubt, sir, when area of cross section increases, then how resistance decreases? Yes, here I have one logic here. Dear children, just imagine one tunnel. So underground tunnels will be there, you know, just imagine like this. So here is one tunnel like this, okay, and one more tunnel is like more area of cross section. Let us think that through this first tunnel and second tunnel, same number of persons wants to move, same number, means let us take a many number, let us take 1,000 number like that. So just you think, it's a common sense here, in which case persons may move freely through this narrow one or this broad one it is. So obviously through this second tunnel only persons can move. Why? The area of cross section is more, so that they can move without colliding each other. They'll be moving. So same thing happens when area of cross section is more for any conductor. So what will happen? Electrons will be moving. Why? Because they have enough space to move. So that what happens? The number of collisions are decreased. It's very, very important, children. So again I repeat, as the area of cross section increases, what happens? Electrons will be moving freely because they have enough space to move, so that the number of collisions are decreased. Whereas here the number of collisions are more. Due to that only what happens? Here it is offering more resistance and here it is offering less resistance. So the final conclusion of this third point is that we can say that resistance of any material is inversely proportional to the area of cross section. Now the last point is very important. Very important. So dear children, so for a what we can say, for a given copper wire, let us say, or else even you can take any other material also, some X material, some X conductor it is. Okay. And here what happens, initially it is at a room temperature, let us say at a T1 degree Celsius. Okay. Then what happens? Let us measure its resistance with the ohmic meter. We can, means with the help of multimeter, we can measure the resistance. Let us say the resistance whatever we got is R1. Okay. Now for some time, let the current flow through that wire, at least some 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And we all know that what happens when current passes through the any conductor, obviously. So some amount of electrical energy gets converted into what, children? Heat energy. That we all know very well. So after some time, what will happen? It gets heated. So after that again, after getting heated, definitely. So let us say its temperature is T1, and let us say after some time, let us say its temperature is T2. It's very clear that T2 is greater than T1. Okay, temperature is increased. Now you measure the resistance. Here. Let us say the resistance is R2. Then we will notice that here, dear children, R2 will be greater than R1, which means what? The resistance of a same material, same length, same area of cross section is increasing. Why? Because here temperature is increasing. So what can we conclude here? As we can increase the temperature, the resistance also increases. But dear children, here one condition is there. It is different for conductors and it is different for semiconductors. Okay, first let us write the point. So it also depends on the temperature. So here we need to talk separately for conductors. And at the same time we need to talk about even semiconductors also. Let us say it is a semiconductors. Dear children, in the case of conductors, the resistance is directly proportional to temperature, which means what here? As you go on increasing the temperature, obviously the resistance increases. Whereas for semiconductors, SE means what it is? Semiconductors, the resistance is inversely proportional to the temperature. It's very important. So conductor means such as like a copper, aluminum. Here silicon, germanium you can take. So it's very important. Here you may get one question, sir, why resistance is increasing when we increase the temperature for conductors? Dear children, as we all know that in a conductor, plenty of electrons are available. So due to which what happens? So already collisions will be takes place. So as you are increasing the temperature, dear children, already we learnt in a work power energy and previous other chapters also, we all know very well that, so there is a relation, of course we learnt in calorimetry, that there is a relationship between temperature and kinetic energy. So when you increase the temperature, dear children, what will happen? Kinetic energy increases, due to which what will happen? Collisions, what we can say, vibrations of the molecule, what increases. So as the vibrations increases, number of collisions also increases. It's very important. As the number of collisions increases, it means what? Resistance increases. It's very important. So in the case of conductors, resistance is directly proportional to temperature. Now let us conclude these things. So here R is proportional to L. Let us say it is equation 1 we got, means R is inversely proportional to A, that is area of cross section is inversely proportional. Second equation. Children, from these two, can we write like this? R is proportional to L by A. Of course we can write. But dear children, whenever there is a proportional symbol, can be replaced by a constant. So here, what are we going to get here? R is equal to rho into L by A, rho into L by A. So here dear children, what is rho here children? Rho is called here specific resistance or resistivity. It's very important. Specific resistance or resistivity. It's very important. Yeah children, so this is what actually generally we use the formula to calculate the resistance of the given material when L value, A value, rho values are known, we can calculate. But dear children, sometimes they'll be asking what, for example, here is some given conductors or given wire whose length is L and whose area of cross section is A. So its area of what we can say is the resistance is R. Then if this is stretched, it is stretched so that its length is becoming double, its length is doubled. So initially its length is like this, so it is stretched, means like this it may happen. Dear children, let me tell you one important thing. So before the area of cross section is A, length is L. Dear children, when the wire is stretched, what happens? You have to notice one very important thing. Its length is doubled, means its length will become double, but whereas area of cross section will become half. It's very important. But one thing very important, dear children, whether length is increasing or area of cross section increasing, whatever it may be, but its total volume always remains same. Total volume always remains same. So this is very important. Then in this case, they will ask us to calculate the new resistance. So a copper wire of length L, area of cross section A and its resistance R, when it is stretched so that its length is doubled, then what is the new resistance? Very important. Then how to calculate? Children, let us do this. So let us take the same formula. Here it is R is equal to rho into L by A. Children, let us multiply and divide with L only here. Okay, so nothing is changed. It will be same only. So now what will happen is rho into L square by, children, here area of cross section to length is what actually? Volume of the wire. It is a volume. It's a volume. Dear children, so rho for a given material it is a constant and a V is constant only, because whether you will stretch it or whatever it may be, its volume remains constant. Then R is directly proportional to the L square. So I can say it is R is directly proportional to L square. Children, don't get confused. So already here we got R is proportional to L. Then what is this? R is proportional to L square. Dear children, so only especially in a stretching case we will this relation. So R is proportional to L square. So from this I can write R1 by R2 is equal to L1 square by it is L2 square. So by this relation we can call. Children, whenever a word is given stretching case, they'll ask us to calculate the new resistance. Use this relation. So R1 will be given. Let us say it is R1 is given. So L1 is what? Initial length. L2 is what? Final length. A1 is what? A1 is not at all needed here. So here L1, L2 will be given. L1, L2 will be given and R1 will be given. We need to calculate the R2. So dear children, this is a very important formula. Okay children. Now we will discuss what is actually resistivity, what are its units. Children, it is also called as specific resistance. It is also called as specific resistance. Now let us see how to define. Children, this is a relation which we got. R is equal to rho into L by A. R is equal to rho into L by A. So from this, can we write like this? Rho is equal to R into A by L. Of course we can write. So what happens if A is equal to 1 unit, L is equal to 1 unit? Just think what will happen. Then it will be rho is equal to R. Children, it's a very important conclusion it is. Which means what? Resistivity or specific resistance is nothing but the resistance of the material only, but with specific dimensions. Very important. So then how to define? So the resistance of a material, the resistivity is defined as the resistance of the given conductor with unit area of cross section and unit length. I mean, dear children, whatever may be the material you can take. So we will define, it's as like specific heat capacity. Do you remember specific heat capacity we defined for only 1 unit mass actually in such a way. So here resistivity is nothing but the resistance of the material with unit area of cross section, unit length. It's very important. Now let us see its units then. So it's a units, very important children. So rho is equal to, so we know that R is measured in ohm and area of cross section is meter square and here length is in meters. So meter square will get cancelled. So dear children, what are the units here? Ohm meter, or we also can write omega meter like this. So here ohm meter is a very important. Ohm meter is a SI unit of the resistivity. But dear children, then on which factors does it depend? Children, it's very important. So here area of cross section and length are fixed. So with that only we should understand that it does not depend on the dimensions. Children, it's very important. Resistivity depends on only two factors. One is nature of the material. It's very important. Nature of the material means it is different for different materials. Means children, it is a characteristic property of the conductor, given conductor. Whether you can take 1 meter copper wire, 100 meter copper wire, whatever it may be, but its resistivity will be same. So, and it also depends on temperature, very important. It also depends on temperature. But dear children, it does not depend on length and area of cross section. It doesn't depend on length and area of cross section. Dear children, one very important thing is that actually the resistivity value is different for conductors, semiconductors and insulators. For example, let us take a conductors, dear children. So for conductors, the resistivity value varies from 10 power minus 8 to 10 power minus 6 ohm meter. It's very important. Whereas for insulators, so insulators offer so much. For insulators, it is approximately 10 power some 12 to 10 power 17 ohm meter approximately ohm meter. Then what about semiconductors, sir? So semiconductors are always lying in between. Might be approximately, it might be like a 10 power 4 to 10 power 6 or 10 power 6 to 10 power 8. So it is a ohm meter. Of course, always the properties of the semiconductors will be lying in between conductors and insulators. Means the values will be lower than the conductor, whereas means one more very important thing about semiconductor, children. Actually, at a very high temperatures, semiconductors can act like a conductors, whereas at a low temperatures, semiconductors can act like an insulator. That is the specialty of the semiconductor. It's very important. So semiconductors at a higher temperatures, they can act like a conductors, whereas at a lower temperature, they act like a insulators. It's a very important. So dear children, this is what actually resistance and resistivity, and on which factors resistance and resistivity depends. Dear children, in next class we will be discussing what is Ohm's law and how can we verify the Ohm's law. Thank you so much, dear children. All the very best.